boy, we are in the desert of new movie releases. Hi, my name is Justin DeClue, and you're watching the Best New Movie Show, where I pick 3 movies every week that are new, and then decide which one is the best one. On this episode, I'll be talking about Adverse, Kid 90, and Cherry. So first off, let's talk about the one that I enjoyed. Yes, I'm going to spoil the whole show because there were 2 stinkers that I had to check out this week because it's all that was being released. Kid 90 is a new documentary directed and starring Soleil Moon Frye, yes, Punky Brewster, and it's a collage of all of the footage that she shot when she was a teenager, hence the title In the 90s. It's essentially her looking back on this stuff and editing little montages and trying to find meaning in the experiences that she had as a 90s teen actor who starred in stuff like Pumpkinhead 2, Blood Wings, or the Piranha remake that nobody ever talks about. It's really interesting to see somebody look back on it, even though it's a complete stranger. You're essentially looking at her diary. You see the diary pages on screen. You hear phone calls that she made, because I guess she recorded them. And you see a cavalcade of stars in their teenage years, including Leonardo DiCaprio, David Arquette, Steven Dorff, and so many more. She knew all these people, she hung out with them, and while the bigger stars kind of just pass through, it's really about her relationships that she had, like the lead singer of House of Pain that she had a very strong relationship with. She's very honest. It's her looking back and interviewing some of the people that appear in this footage, and while it is very moving and personal, it is still a stranger's diary. What you really get out of it, because it's such a quick-paced montage with a through line kind of zooming through, it's not necessarily her perspective on it and what she learned because it moves so quickly. You mostly see the people that got lost along the way. She says that looking back at this footage made her realize that her friends were hurting sometimes and she just wasn't listening, even though that she has it right there on camera. It'll be interesting, like teenagers these days looking back, because everybody will essentially have what she has, which is a document of all of this. While it is very emotionally powerful, it is also a little too quick to really like dig your teeth into. At one point, she just hung out with the cast of Larry Clark's Kids while she lived in New York, but you don't really get a chance to grasp onto it because it is so many years, you're a teenager, so much stuff is happening, but it's nice to see it honest and out there. And that's coming from someone who has never seen a single episode of Punky Brewster, but I do appreciate this kind of like, look at the footage that I shot back then when I was a teenager. I was happy, I was rich, and I was white, but there is still real dramatic meat to be found there. And you get a lot of David Arquette being interviewed about the wild times that he had. All right, now it's time to go into Crap Town. Adverse. This is the new film starring Thomas Ian Nicholas, and also produced by Thomas Ian Nicholas. You may remember him from being the star of Rookie of the Year, or one of the other guys that wasn't Sean William Scott or Jason Biggs in American Pie, and you probably haven't really heard about too much of him since then. I don't know, maybe there is a big Thomas Ian Nicholas fan group. So this is a film, low budget, direct to video. Thomas Ian Nicholas stars as a cab driver who's having to take care of his sister. He has anger problems, and one night Mickey Rourke gets in his car, and Mickey Rourke is a bad guy, and it just goes terrible from there. This is essentially Thomas Ian Nicholas producing himself a dry fan film. If it looked awful, was kind of boring, and was completely unengaging. And this is a movie meant to haunt VOD shelves, you looking to find something and you think, oh, is that Collateral? It kind of looks like the cover of Collateral. Maybe I'll click on it. And then it starts and you're like, oh no, what is this? You are thrown these ugly, ugly images in your face. This miserable story of a comedy kid star wanting to be taken seriously, backed by such heavyweights as Sam Levine showing up for one scene, Sean Astin showing up for one scene, Lou Diamond Phillips showing up for one scene, Mickey Rourke showing up for probably 2 to 3 days of filming, but man, he looks so not good. Please, don't make him make movies anymore. As you may have noticed, I did not enjoy this motion picture, but I do have to admit, as it went along, and it got crazier and crazier, climaxing essentially was Thomas Ian Nicholas redoing his own Old Boy and just taking a tire iron, walking from room to room where these bald-headed men are keeping women and just hitting them across the face once and then they fall and they go unconscious. But it's all done in one take, filled with CGI blood. You have rarely seen a movie this serious with such hokey-looking computer-generated blood. I watched this because we did it on the Bay Street Video podcast, and otherwise I would have definitely not checked it out. And finally, we have Cherry, the new movie from Anthony and Joe Russo, the filmmakers who directed Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Captain America 3, Civil War. Man, I can't keep these titles straight. And the other two Avengers movies. They obviously wanted to make this picture because they've been stuck in the Marvel factory for so long. And these are two filmmakers who came up on the indie scene. They made Welcome to Collingwood, a very Coen Brothers-esque picture. And then they ended up in television, directing some of the best episodes of Arrested Development and Community. So of course, after they've done these big blockbusters, they have free reign. They can probably do whatever they want. So they got Spider-Man himself, Tom Holland, to star in their film, which is about a young man who falls in love. And when the relationship disintegrates, he joins the army. And things go bad. He ends up addicted to OxyContin and becomes a serial bank robber. When I saw the picture, I was like, this could be fun. I like the stuff that they've done before. I can't wait to see what they can do unleashed. What they do unleashed is essentially a Trainspotting ripoff. It is super stylish. Stylish to the point that someone like me, who loves doing all this stuff, was like, oh my god, this is so leaden. Please stop. We get it. You did it in one long take. We get it. This is a tableau and, isn't it fun that only Tom Holland is moving in it? Or, hey, the soldiers, they turned into children to represent that they're essentially children being put through this boot camp. Yeah, all this stuff is kind of cool, but there's no humor, there's no charm. It's so self-important in its 2 hour and 20 running time that there is nothing to really connect with. It's at once filmmakers who want to prove, hey, look, we have an authorial voice. We are not just part of a giant robot that makes movies. We can do things that we go in, we know what we want, and we get it. And that's what they do, but unfortunately it seems like nobody told them no. And without any kind of feedback, you get this kind of hermetically sealed thing that is completely charmless and dies by lack of oxygen. This is a film that is not fun. I thought I was maybe gonna have fun. I thought maybe at the beginning it was so stylish and all over the place and you could tell that they were just giving it their all, that I could get into it just based on the sheer creativity that was being doled out on screen. But it's also so self-important, and because there's nothing really to connect to, and the style is just not wild enough to propel me through it, that I just wanted it to be over. I was dreaming of maybe watching, maybe another Trainspotting style film that I enjoyed in my youth. Something like DJ Caruso's The Salton Sea. Yeah, that's how much I did enjoy Cherry, that I was thinking, maybe I should give Salton Sea another shot, because I know people who really enjoy it. So with all that, what was the best movie? Look, it was Kid 90. You know it's Kid 90. It's the only one that I've talked about in this video that I enjoyed. And while I do have some issues with it, like that it moves too fast, it is a very raw look into somebody's teenage years, and you get to see a bunch of your favorite 90s kid star. Look, it's Zach Morris! So there's a lot to enjoy there. The other two, man, they're just bad. Don't check them out. Cherry is just a super long slog by filmmakers who are trying to prove something by going too hard in on it and not allowing it to feel alive, while Adverse is a pure ego project. So, out of both of those, I would probably recommend Adverse before Cherry, just because who doesn't love ego-driven cinema that is spearheaded by an old comedy actor that starred in the American Pie movies? So after all that, I hope that you subscribe, click the button right there, and tune in every Saturday, because I will have a new episode of the Best New Movie Show where I watch 3 movies and pick the best one. And to tide you over before then, make sure to subscribe to any of the podcasts that I post, including the Important Cinema Club, the Bay Street Video Podcast, the one that I talked about Adverse at lengths with my co-host Mark Hansen, No Such Thing as a Bad Movie Podcast, and the Star Wars Puncast. Yes, I realize I have a lot of these podcasts. But after you've listened to all those, please make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.